Good day, everyone. On behalf of my co-researchers and co-authors, I would like to present to you our paper entitled Local Knowledge and Practices Towards Ecological Restoration of Selected Landscape in Atok, Benguet, Philippines. Forest degradation in the Philippines is caused by logging activities, poverty, and limited economic opportunities. Logging activities were profitable business in the Philippines in the 1980s, and this consists of the legally sanctioned logging operations as well as the illegal cutting activities. Poverty and limited economic opportunities, on the other hand, are considered as connective challenges to deforestation. A number of initiatives have been undertaken to restore the forest ecosystem in the Philippines. Government-led and private sector-led initiatives in forest restoration have been on the ground. Partnership agreements and outsourcing arrangements were also instituted with the local government units and communities to help bolster forest restoration. Policy, technical, and social approaches were likewise implemented. Higgs 2005 argues that restoration requires scientific and technological insights. He also insists on the importance of the support of local communities, effective policies, appropriate legislation, and long-term funding for durable restoration. According to the Society for Ecological Restoration International, ecological restoration is the process of assisting the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed as a result of direct or indirect human activities, or in some cases caused by natural disturbances. Local and indigenous communities are always seen as an important component of forest rehabilitation and ecological restoration initiatives. The intrinsic knowledge and skills of indigenous communities on ecological restoration have always been recognized, particularly in areas that they inhabit themselves. Close linkage between culture and nature and the long-term interaction with the environment provide most of the indigenous communities with a holistic understanding of ecological processes of the environment, hence their ability to manage them well. This study highlights the narratives and empirical evidences on the contributions of the knowledge and practices of local communities towards the ecological restoration of selected landscapes in the northern part of the Philippines. The study was conducted in Barangay Kaliking and Barangay Tokdak in the municipality of Atok, Benguet, Philippines. The municipality of Atok serves as the headwaters of the Amburayan and Agno River Basin. The indigenous cultural communities that inhabit these villages are mostly Ibalois and the rest are Kankanais. For the demographic and socioeconomic information of the study sites, these were gathered from the selected research participants using semi-structured interviews. Sampling intensity was computed using the Slovin's formula. A transect walk to determine the biophysical conditions of the selected landscapes was also conducted. Research participants were selected using stratified random sampling with a type of farming system as the stratum. Focus group discussions participated by the elders, key leaders, and selected farmers were organized across the selected landscape. To enrich the documentation, actual visits to and observation of these local practices were also conducted. Measurements of biological diversity and soil sampling were done in 22 sampling plots, representing 16 plots within the farm lots with a quadrat area of 10 meter by 20 meters, and 6 plots in the community forest with a quadrat area of 10 meters by 10 meters. Across these sampling plots, the following were determined: importance value, Shannon-Weiner Diversity Index, and the Pelo's Evenness Index. The index was then analyzed using the classification scheme proposed by Fernando 1998. For the results and discussion, in terms of the socioeconomic conditions of the local communities in the selected landscapes or watersheds, it was revealed that farmers in the study sites are mostly male, 67%, with a mean age of 42, younger than farmers in other upland communities we had in other projects. And this may be because these farmers are now the second or third generation of farmers. Most of the farmers are married, 84%, with a mean household size of 5. Farmers are mostly smallholders with a farm size of less than 1 hectare, which gives them an income of 10,000 to 20,000 per year or 200 to 400 US dollars. Majority are farm owners, 64%. Hence, they have the autonomy to decide or to determine what crops to grow or plant in their respective farm areas. To further characterize the farm areas, farm lots are characteristically steep. They have steep slopes, 65% of them. With this, they are dependent on springs, river, and rainfall for their sources of irrigation. Farm components consist of vegetables, fruit trees, and livestock. Types of land uses and farming systems, there are 5. Sayote-based agroforestry system, coffee-based agroforestry system, sayote monocropping, vegetable intercropping, and mixed fruit trees. In terms of biodiversity assessment and soil analysis, a total of 105 tree species were found in the study sites. Out of this, 69 species were found in the communal forest, representing 10 families. Pinasii family had the highest number of individuals. And the Benguet pine or Pinus insularis was the most dominant species, having an importance value of 159.05%. Other species include Alnus japonica, Thea sinensis, Dracontomelon dao, and Camellia lanceolate. At the individual farm level, 36 species of trees were found, representing 5 families. Family Rubiaceae had the highest number of individuals, and Benguet pine was again considered as the most dominant species. Other species include Alnus japonica, coffee species, and Persea gratissima. The dominance of Benguet pine indicates the farmer's preference for the species for its cultural services and maybe because of its suitability to the agroclimatic conditions of the area. Alnus japonica, on the other hand, is being maintained for its soil amelioration potentials, and that coffee and Persea species are cultivated for their economic importance. For biodiversity assessment and soil analysis, Shannon-Weiner Diversity Index showed that sampling plots across the communal forest and farm lots had a very low biodiversity index of 0.437 and 0.972 respectively. Such is an indication that there are only few species of trees that exist in the study areas. Again, this may be due to farmers' preference for cultural services, or it could be that these are really the few species that are suitable for the agroclimatic conditions of the area. The Pelo's Evenness Index indicated very high in the farmland, that is 0.825, and moderate in communal forest of 0.421. This indicates that species are evenly distributed across the farmlands and communal forest. Both the communal forest and the farmlands have acidic soils with pH values of 4.02 and 4.05 respectively. Meanwhile, soil organic matter of 6.49% and 5.89% for communal forest and farm lots respectively is noteworthy as this indicates high soil, an indicator of productivity and is crucial in the sustainability of cropping systems. Communal forests have relatively higher soil organic matter content because these areas are less disturbed compared to the farmlands. Now, to highlight the local knowledge and practices towards ecological restoration among these indigenous communities in Atok, Benguet. First, we have the maintenance of Alnus japonica in the farms and composting its litters to enhance soil fertility through nitrogen fixation. Please take note that these Alnus species, Alnus japonica, are natural stands and never been planted. They have deep root system that adds to the stability to the slopes, and they also serve as live posts for sayote and a shade tree for coffee. Second, establishment of structural soil and water conservation measures such as ripraps and bench terraces. These are used for reducing runoff and sediment, controlling soil erosion, conserving water, and increasing agricultural production. Third is the integration of trees on the farm. They usually maintain what they call as Kadasan. Kadasan is a collective term for broadleaf tree species in individual farms, regardless of land use. And the indigenous communities believe that these serve as source of water within the watershed. Woody perennials are found along the farm boundaries, particularly at the upper portion to prevent soil erosion and to serve as windbreaks. Fourth is the conservation of the giant tree fern. The indigenous communities or the people themselves believe that this provides a steady supply of water to the river and streams. Other initiatives, and these are mostly from the leadership of the community, either from the barangay council or from other organizations within their community, is the community tree planting. And this includes the yearly cleanup of the river system, maintenance of a communal forest, execution of local ordinances toward regulated cutting of trees, even for cultural purposes such as coffins. In doing this, they collaborate with the other organizations, even government agencies such as the Department of Environment and Natural Resources for seedlings. And another one is the awareness raising among the youth. Elders believe that the younger generation should be educated about the need for ecological restoration, encourage them to help in farm development activities, inculcate unto them that upland farming coupled with proper conservation practices could be a sustainable livelihood. For our conclusion and recommendations, research results indicated that the local communities in Atok Benguet have developed a nexus of agriculture production and ecological restoration. Their agricultural production, which provides for their economic needs, mends well with the ecological environment. These local communities employed their knowledge and practices towards restoring the ecological state of the watershed. Among this, the integration of trees on the farm, planting of Alnus japonica for soil and water conservation, establishment of structural soil and water conservation, maintenance of communal forests, and awareness building among the youth on forest conservation and management. A very low diversity index and a very high evenness index were recorded in the farmlands, while a very low diversity index and moderate evenness index was measured in the communal forests. High soil organic contents of 6.49% and 5.86% were recorded both at the community forest and farmlands respectively. Results imply the need to sustain the use of local knowledge and practices in combination with the technological interventions from academic and research institutions to help enhance the ecological restoration of forest landscapes. We, the authors, would like to thank farmers, barangay leaders, and elders in barangays Kaliking and Toktak in Atok, Benguet. Village leaders are also recognized for providing consent to the researchers to undertake the study in the two barangays. The Benguet State University, through Dr. Kenneth A. Laruan, and the Simeo Biotrop for providing funds to carry out this study. Thank you.